Are you an owner operator or aspiring to be one? Have you ever wondered what's the difference between factoring and invoicing customers directly? Let's talk about it.
Open air, side by side we sway there in all the
So
colors.
for those of you that are new to the channel, I am a trucker and I'm an owner operator with my own authority. And the beginning of this year, I was tasked to just take care of this little one right here. Look at this. And this one is so silly. But this, what my daily life has become, just being at the house, doing things at the house, and every now and then doing loads. Let me tell you something. This girl loves her chicken. Right, Bill? You like chicken, baby? Come on, you tell the camera. You like chicken? Come on now. Say, I love chicken.
I love chicken.
So there's a load I took back in September coming from the Oakland area. As a matter of fact, I believe I made a video about it, that I was having such a hard time looking for a scale within that area. And this load was, I wouldn't say overweight, but the axles I was very concerned about because I might not be right. And I still could not find a doggone until like 120 miles later, I could not find a scale. And when I finally scaled it, my suspicions were correct. And I'm glad I was only over by 500 pounds. They probably would have let me go, but at the same time, maybe not. I was only over 500 pounds on my drive axle. First, let's talk about what a factoring is. In a nutshell, a factoring company is somebody who... A factoring company is somebody who buys your contract. So when I sign up to move something for a broker in particular, okay, and we sign a contract and there's a agreement within that contract that the broker has to pay that amount on the contract, right, on the rate con, that they have to pay a certain amount of days or whatever, right? Now, that contract is, that's what the factoring company buys from you, okay? Basically, they're saying that they want to buy that contract from you for a certain fee. A lot of your small carriers will go on a factoring route due to the fact that they don't want to do the research, right? Basically, that's what a factoring does. They want to pre-approve those people, make sure that they will pay, because there are some people out there that will not pay, okay? So that's basically what a factoring is. You are relying on that factoring company that they have done the research that they are going to pay, whoever that is, So when you check somebody for factoring, if they're not factorable, then you'll have to do your own research, which what I did with this load. So when I first checked these guys, this broker was not factorable. That's okay, because all you have to do is you can do your own research, right? And you're also slightly gambling, right? So you check their credit rating, you check the broker's credit rating, and then you check their days to pay and things like that. And I also went further and beyond and checked their insurance, right? I went on FMCSA, the snapshot, and then I type in their MC number, right? And then I look them up, and then I look at the pending insurance and things like that. And these particular guys have been insured to the same insurance broker or bond company since 2016. So I had no reason to not believe that they were not gonna pay. I don't know if you can see her on the camera. She's right over there. She's sleeping. This is one of those moments where I have a little bit of time to go do stuff and try to be productive. one of my kids is actually part of the ROTC. That's why I'm gonna drop off that uniform, or JROTC, I should say. I'm gonna drop off that uniform to the dry cleaners, and so he can get ready for your uniform inspection. Needless to say, this is a very proud parent. I mean, he doesn't need to do. I didn't force him to do this, right? I just gave him the idea. I just gave him the suggestion that he should think about it. You know what I mean? Like, if he ever thinks about joining the military, if he was part of the JROTC, and then he will be way ahead of his peers if he did join. That's why I gave him that option instead of just going to the gym, right? I mean, PE, right? The JROTC is a PE substitute, so instead of doing all of that, why not just try to see if you can advance further than your peers, so. This is one of the reason why I say you always gotta do your pre-trip. Now, what's weird about this, right? I don't remember the last time I have taken this off. I don't remember. The only thing that I could probably would say is that when I did the filter, right? I took the filter. Why would I remove that when I did the filter, though? But either way, here's what I'm trying to get at. Look at this. This thing is loose, man. Look at that. What the heck? That could have been a disaster, man. If there was, that's a boost leak right there. I mean, not a boost leak, but that's a leak that's not good because the turbo is sucking in, right? And it could be sucking in dirt through there. Ooh, that could be a disaster. My goodness. This is why I always say make sure you do your pre-trip, right? Check this out. Look at this. Look at that. This is your alternator hot wire. This is your ground. And look what it's doing. And this is your signal, right? Look what it's doing. They're on this bracket right here. So this zip tie broke off, maybe from age or whatever. It looks like it's recent, right? If you look at the edge of it, it looks like it's pretty recent. So that's why you always have to do your pre-trip, man. You look around, like, even though it's monotony, right? Over and over and over and over again, you still gotta do it, man. Make sure you do it. The other day, this one broke off, and I caught that one. And if this keeps vibrating, it's eventually gonna rub off and just freaking you're gonna have a busted coolant hose. That's why you always make sure you are looking at your truck. I actually need to redo that signal right there. Look at it. It's pretty rusty. Everything else is good. I might just redo those. I gotta make a note of it. Check out what we're doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, I just gotta make a public service announcement, okay? So I have mud flaps, right? And I'm glad they're removable sometimes, because when you're pulling container, look how close that is. Look, my mud flap would have been right here, and when I turn, that would have ripped it off, man. I have ripped off two already. Once again, I'm able to drag out this doggone topic that is supposed to be about this broker, right? And I'm able to drag it out long. Anyway, needless to say, this broker was not factorable by my factoring company. So, but I did my research and I looked them up, and I was confident that they are gonna pay and it's not gonna be a problem. They are net 30, which means it takes them 30 days to pay, okay? So I invoiced them out on the 23rd, and I waited patiently all the way up to the 22nd, and I asked for status of next month, 30 days later. And I asked for status on the payment, and she was like, well, hopefully we can get this out in a few days or by the end of next week, okay? So that would have been like another week, you know what I mean? So it'll be like 30 days plus, it'll be like almost 40 days, right? So I patiently waited, no problems. So 40 days later, and then I asked them again for status on it, a status update, and then she told me that they were having issue with the customer paying them, right, and then that they were hopefully they can get it out in a few days or whatever, right? And I started thinking, man, I was like, wow, really? So it's no problem, right? I've waited this long already. This is one of the reasons why you really don't want um uh you don't want to go outside your factoring. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's stay on topic. So I was thinking, like, wait a minute, you are net 30. I have waited over 30 days already, and yet you still cannot give me a good solid date on when you're gonna pay this invoice out. Okay. um so I waited a few days. The next week, midweek, I asked them again, hey, what's the status on it? And I even said that, like, listen, it's been over 45 days. What is the status on this payment? And I'm not being rude at all, And anyway, and then I guess the president is like this guy named Pablo or something like that. He responded to me right away, and he said, what you call it? He said, wait till the end of the day, or a few hours or whatever, and then payment is coming out. I mean, no problems, right? It's just crazy that they are dragging that out, and that's one of the reasons why the factoring company would not buy out that contract, because of that reason. They probably have had that reason before, and or that same situation before, and it's just that they don't want to deal with it. It's nothing wrong with that, right? That's one of the reasons why my first year operating on my own, I invoice everything out, right? And I had so much trouble, man. For some reason, I had so much trouble, and I was talking to Parker about it, right? And Parker's like, "Man, I haven't had no issues, right?" I was like, "Wow, really?" And when I was man, I'm telling you, my first year, it was nothing but headache after headache after headache. There was a couple of times, two brokers, they didn't pay 60 plus days, man. It's crazy, man. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not, that is not even the thing. The problem is, like, checking status on these invoices, and you have to keep up with them, or else they're gonna do the same thing, just like what this broker just did, drag it out. You know what I mean? If they're not complaining, hey, you know what I mean, let's not pay out the invoice. We pay that when they completely complain 100%. I don't know what, you know what I mean? It's crazy to me that if if I was on the receiving end of that, right? If that was on the end where they had an issue with me, they are definitely deducting money out of my rate con right away, right? You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. This is some of the areas where a carrier, right, is between a rock and a hard place, right? Because your contract with the broker is not to benefit you, it's to benefit the broker, right? Because they wrote the contract. It's always gonna favor them, right? Now, could I write my own contract as a carrier? Absolutely. Will I get brokers to sign up for that? Probably not. Or go for it? Probably not. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, like, I mean, if I had, like, direct customers, we could probably work out something like that, right? Like, that if they were delayed on a payment, that they would have to agree that they would pay a certain amount of percentage when they do pay the invoice at this amount of days delayed, this amount of days delayed, this, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, anyway, there was no problems with it. It's just that, it's one of those things that you're going to experience if you're a carrier and you don't factor all of your invoices. You know what I mean? And sure enough, like, one of the few times that I did not factor an invoice, this happens, right? So overall, I think it's better to factor, but there are times that it's okay not to factor. You know what I mean? And this is one of those times. I was not worried, not one bit, that I wasn't going to get paid. I mean, obviously that could go, south real fast. But I was not worried one bit that I wasn't gonna get paid. It's just that the fact that I had to go through all of this. That's why it's better for me. My opinion, overall, better to factor, man. Factor all of your invoices. You know what I mean? Yeah, like me with OTR solutions, I'm paying 3%, right? That's okay, man. That 3% is a lot less headache than what you gotta go through, especially with that particular scenario, right? I mean, yes, I get it. Not every time you're gonna run into that. Not all the time. And when you do run into it, it's just frustrating, to be honest. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end the video here. Look how messed up the garage is. Believe it or not, all of this stuff, everything in here was in that truck on that top bunk. I had too much stuff. We will see y'all in the next video.